Hello, good morning, Philippines. I'm Cupin, and I'm at the National Museum of the Fine Arts, where President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will be taking his oath as the 17th President of the Republic of the Philippines. It's gonna be a very long day. Kung narinig niyo sa likod ko, nagma-mic check pa ngayon dito sa National Museum. It's gonna be a very long day, steeped in tradition, from the meeting of the outgoing and incoming president up to uh, parang people's concert tonight here also in the city of Manila. Luckily, I have with me my colleague Aika Ray, who is at the Malacañang Palace, who also cover the first part of festivity. So Aika, can you give us a rundown of what we will expect to happen today? It's inauguration day.
Hello, hi everyone, hi Bea. So right now, andito ako ngayon sa Malacañang, no? Today we're expecting President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to be here in the morning to meet with outgoing President Rodrigo Duterte dahil ito ay part nung salubong na tinatawag nila, no? So around 9 a.m., shortly before 10 a.m., darating dito si President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. He will sign the guest book. And then, itong guest book na to, siya yung magiging last guest, no, ni President Duterte dito. So, after that, no, after the events in the morning, meron pa silang part ng tradition na yung bababa ng hagdan, and then later, siguro pwede natin pag-usapan yung isa naman, yung aakyat ng hagdan. So, ito yung mga ina-expect natin mangyayari sa umaga. And then after that, magkakaroon ng ihahatid si President Duterte palabas, no, ng Malacañang. And we're expecting na si President Duterte will fly directly to Davao after. So we're expecting na hindi na siya makakapunta sa National Museum later for the inauguration rites. Bea?
So after naman kay Aika, babato tayo dito sa National Museum again kasi again dito yung mismong inauguration ni President-elect for now kasi hindi pa siya nanunumpa, President-elect Marcos. So, yung mangyayari dito sa mga viewers natin at listeners natin na siguro mas familiar sa inauguration tradition, pagdating niya dito, magkakaroon dito ng civic and military parade. I'm sure you've seen the pictures nung sa 27th, nung Monday, parang nag-dry run na sila dito sa military parade na mangyayari. And then he will be taking his oath, and then he'll deliver a speech at noon, and then he'll go back to Malacañang. But siguro, since we're already talking about the inauguration, let's talk about why, what an inauguration is for and why it matters. Kasi I discussed this, may plug ako sa show ko on Raptor sa 36 years, no, na technically kasi pwede naman manumpa ka lang, hindi mo na kailangan ng inauguration na ceremony, you just take your oath and that's, okay na yun. And then you start your actual office on the day that mandated by the Constitution. But as pointed out by historian Xiao Chu, the point of an inauguration, it's steeped in symbolism, and it symbolizes the peaceful transfer of power. Nabanggit ka ni Aika na later this morning, may yung parang magsasalubong si outgoing President Rodrigo Duterte and si incoming President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Aside from the niceties lang na na they're seeing each other, parang it symbolizes the peaceful transfer of power from one president to another, and yung greater significance nito, and I'm sure some people will disagree and some people will counter this argument, but to many, the inauguration is not or should not be about whoever won the recently concluded election. It's not about Ferdinand Marcos Jr. In fact, it's about the electorate. Some will argue, baka sabihin nila na it's only for the 31 million who voted for him. Of course, he is the first majority elected president since the EDSA revolution. Pero ideally, or in its essence, the inauguration is for the people. It's a celebration, kumbaga, na parang it's another peaceful transfer of power. The democratic process is working. Again, magkakadebate about that, but at least I know there have been evaluations of the recently conducted elections. Pero hanggang dun lang muna tayo, no? So, I'll give you just some trivia about dito sa where we are right now. So it's again, it's the National Museum of the Fine Arts. The building is now called the National Museum of the Fine Arts, but it's used to house the legislative branches of government. And kung hindi kayo familiar sa layout ng National, I'll try to flip it over. Ikot tayo. So kung iikot natin dito sa likod ko, hindi niyo masyado makikita, pero yung makikita niyo parang police lang makikita nyo, no? Pero sa likod kasi ng fronting, the museum is actually Intramuros Park na to. May open space dyan. And several, yung mga supporters or yung mga Filipinos are gathered here. Most of them are in red to witness mamaya yung oath-taking ni Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Kanina pa, pagdating namin dito, 7 a.m., andito na yung mga, actually earlier than that, andito na yung mga tao. And to think the event is about, or parang we expect him to arrive mga 10:30 yet. So, that's what's happening so far and that's what we expect to happen here at the National Museum. Aika, after that, after he takes his oath, babalik siya ng palace. Anong mangyayari dun, Aika?
Yes. So, babalik na si President-elect Marcos Jr. dito sa Malacañang, no? Now as President of the Philippines, as the 17th President of the Philippines. And here we're expecting na, yun nga, no, pagbalik niya, hahatid siya dito. And yun, yung nabanggit ko nga kanina, na aakyat naman siya doon sa grand stairs ng Malacañang. So, siguro, no, later, maybe we're going to expect na baka i-recreate nila yung photo ng kasi noon, 'di ba, meron silang picture ng Marcos family, bata pa si um, President-elect Bongbong Marcos nung panahon na 'yon. And possibly i-recreate nila ito dahil nga ngayon nakabalik na siya sa Malacañang, no. So after that nung pagbalik nila dito, we're expecting mga around 2 something, 2:40 almost 3 p.m. magkakaroon na ng mass oath taking ng cabinet secretary. So so far, marami nang napangalanan si President Marcos Jr. There are a number of posts na he has yet to appoint people. So yun, siguro bago natin puntahan yung mga appointments, no, Bea, curious lang ako, ano ba tong symbolism nung pag-akyat, pagbaba ng mga stairs? So, kasi
Yeah.
part siya ng tradition, di ba? So, why?
Yeah. Sa totoo lang, recently ko lang din nalaman yung trivia na yun. Bakit? Kasi parang for those who are history geeks, you might know this already, but for those who are just casual observers of inaugurations in Philippine politics, di ba? Isa sa mga iconic na pictures, yung pag-akyat ng president after he takes his oath, after he delivers his inaugural speech. According to Professor Historian Xiao Chua, yung origins nun, si President Manuel Quezon, ginawa niya yon. Siya yung nagpauso kumbaga or siya nag-introduce ng tradition na yon. And it's based on what is an urban legend na parang yung nanay daw ni Jose Rizal ay umakyat doon before his execution or before his planned execution to basically ask the Americans then to spare her son. Mas madrama pa yung urban legend nun, gumapang daw yung nanay ni Rizal. Hindi ata malinaw yung kung totoo ba yung kwentong yun. Pero I think what historians kind of agree on is that she did climb up those stairs or she did ask for an audience with our American occupiers at that time. To Quezon, and siguro in history, no, it's a symbol that a Filipino is in control of Malacañang Palace. So yun yung mga maliliit na traditions or siguro yung mga little lore, yung mga lore surrounding inauguration that a lot of us might not be aware of or might have forgotten. Nabanggit nga ni Aika kanina, no, the return of the Marcoses to Malacañang. This was a very fiery discussion in the final weeks of the campaign. Kung maalala nyo, baka hindi lahat makakaalala kasi kami lang naman yung talagang nag-pay attention sa nangyari sa kampanya, no? And in a campaign rally in Cebu, Tony Gonzaga, one of the most prominent celebrity supporters of Bongbong Marcos and his running mate, VP-elect Sara Duterte, parang to introduce Ferdinand Marcos Jr., sabi niya parang malapit na daw, babalik na sa bahay nila ang mga Marcoses, referring to Malacañang. That sparked outrage on social media. Maraming nagalit, maraming na-offend kasi bakit daw bahay ng mga Marcoses yun. And ililinaw natin, obviously hindi yun bahay ng mga Marcos. Malacañang is supposed to be the palace of the people, parang kumbaga, no. Pero you cannot deny yung historical context din dito, nabanggit na ni Aika kanina na Bongbong Marcos Jr., actually, like several presidents before him, he's not a stranger to an inauguration. In fact, he's witnessed several inaugurations of his father, the late dictator Marcos. Diba? Parang he was elected the first time, he was re-elected the second time, and then under martial rule na may mga oath-taking din siya as prime minister, different positions na. So, kung tradition lang at kung kasanayan lang sa inauguration, medyo Ferdinand Marcos Ferdinand Marcos Jr. would be very familiar with this. And I say that he's not the first one. Um, side story na to, no? Side note na lang to. He's not the first presidential child to also hold office. Of course, we have the late President Benigno Aquino, was the son of Cory, is the son of Cory, the late Cory Aquino as well, and then Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Her father was also a president. But I think that's another issue altogether. And also, so nabanggit na nga ni Aika, so uh, it is almost 8 a.m. In a few hours, magsa-start na yung actual events of the day starting in Malacañang with Aika. But siguro to wrap this up, since nilatag na namin yung what to expect today. So again, National Museum, Palace in Malacañang, and then the National Museum, and then back to the
Balik,
Palace. Pero
yes.
balik sa Palace. Pero on top pa lang, beyond the symbols, the pomp and pageantry of today's inauguration is the real work, no? At noon today, officially magsa-start na yung term ni Bongbong Marcos. As of today, as of airing, baka mamaya may announcement pa sila. Wala pang na-announce na foreign Secretary of Foreign Affairs si Bongbong Marcos. And hindi naman siya importante in that context, pero we do expect a lot of foreign dignitaries here at the inauguration, including official delegations from the US, from China, among other countries. Wala pa ring DOH, which is interesting to note considering that we are still in a pandemic. As you can see, nakamask kami doon naman ni Aika. Wala ring DOE. And there are many other issues. Kunyari, isa pang tututukan niya when he formally assumes the post as president, yung ongoing peace process at the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Aika, one of the main things that he will have to contend with and handle and deal with as the 17th president of the Philippines, of course, the economy. What challenges lie ahead for the incoming president rather?
Actually, it's going to be very challenging for the incoming president because yung mai-inherit niya is very tight yung fiscal space. So, yung debt natin amounting to almost 13 trillion, weak yung revenues because of the pandemic, and yun na nga, no? So, kailangan natin tignan kung ano yung mga gagawin sa economic side ng kanyang incoming economic team. And apart from that, no, important din nating makita. Kasi ngayon, wala pa siyang ina-appoint na energy secretary. And right now, people are feeling talaga yung effect, no, ng high fuel costs. So, we're yet to see kung ano yung magiging plano doon. So far, ang outgoing administration, nagpataas na sila no, ng minimum fare to 11 pesos. So, titignan natin kung anong gagawin ng incoming administration. Kasi last minute to. So, magkakaroon ba ng pagpapalit doon or we're yet to see, no, on that matter. On investment, on infrastructure, may kita din natin na it's very possible because of high debt na the incoming administration would actually go for PPPs, no? So, yung past administration, for those who are not very familiar with it, the outgoing administration actually tried to veer away from PPPs because they said na, implementation is kind of slow. So, they wanted to do ODAs, but it turns out, nagkaroon ng pandemic, so hindi rin pala naging ganon kabilis yung naging proseso, no? So, around 88 projects ang iiwanan ng outgoing administration na kanilang titignan, no, kung ipagpapatuloy ba nila ito o i-review nila ito, no? So, in the past weeks, we've heard incoming DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan na they will continue the Build program, but they would have to review kung ano yung mga projects daw na talagang makakatulong sa ating economy. So yun yung mga titignan ni incoming President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. And yun na nga, no, nasabi na ni Bea kanina, in a few hours, actually, magsisimula na yung events, no, starting here in Malacañang. So, yun, I guess for now we have to wait. You can just everyone just tune in on Rappler.com for updates, panel discussions, or analysis and more. No. Again, I'm Aika Ray, and I'm joined by Bea Cupin. Thank you for joining us.
Hi guys.